I would do it again. I would.
Yeah.
I left feeling like, oh, I could do this again.
Yeah.
Who's up for a church protest May 8th to 14th?
For 2,000 years, the Catholic Church has been an institution for the enslavement of women.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about some more left-wing radical extremism that is running rampant in our country. This time, in response to the SCOTUS leak that they are poised to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, all week I've been covering leftist meltdown after leftist meltdown after leftist meltdown, but up until this point, it's really just been kind of the mainstream liberal media crying about it, and, you know, woke revolutionaries, you know, crying about it in the streets and protests and stuff like that. However, the left-wing extremists have kicked it up a notch, as they are now trying to dox the conservative Supreme Court justices over this. So I want to talk about that. But before I get in that, I just want to let you guys know that if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. So the current most logical, most plausible theory as to why this Supreme Court decision draft was leaked is that there was some radical leftist, right? Some law clerk or somebody that worked for a liberal justice or something. They got pissed off about the fact that Roe v. Wade is about to be overturned, and they decided to release the draft to the public in order to spark outrage and to maybe try to intimidate the conservative justices into changing their mind. Now, again, this is unprecedented stuff, okay? It really shows that it is likely that the Supreme Court is headed to a era of political polarization that we have never ever seen. And you would think that because of that, because our politicians, right, would want to protect the sovereignty and integrity of our institutions, that both sides would come together, right, put partisanship aside and say, you know what, this is wrong, right? Whoever leaked this, whether it was a liberal or a conservative, this is just objectively wrong, okay? As it does bring the sovereignty and integrity of the Supreme Court under attack. However, it seemed like the Democrats are more concerned about the information in the leak rather than the leak itself.
Why wouldn't the White House condemn this leak? Are there any concerns? Do you have concerns about the sort of further politicization of one of the branches of government?
Have you ever reported anything that's been leaked to you?
I am, and you guys have criticized leaks before as it's been provided. So Matt, you've criticized in the past. Why not criticize this leak?
Again, because I think what is happening here and what we think is happening here is there is an effort to distract from what the actual issue here, which is the fundamental rights. I don't think they're at the same level. We don't think they're at the same level.
So they're not at the same level, but would you agree that it's still worthy of condemnation?
Well, look, I think there has been a call for an investigation by leaders of the Supreme Court. Decisions on that and how it will be pursued will be made by the Department of Justice and others. And that's certainly their space and right to make that decision in government. That's how government is set up. But at the same time, what we've also seen, Peter, is many Republicans who are trying to overturn a woman's fundamental rights try to make this about the leak. This is not about the leak. This is about women's health care and women having access to health care and making choices with their doctors. And we are working not to allow that to be the distraction.
No, it actually is about the leak, okay? Because what was leaked was a draft of what the opinion is probably going to be. Now, it becomes about the actual opinion once the opinion is published and it comes out. But the fact is that this opinion was leaked before the official decision. Again, which basically can be used to intimidate these conservative Supreme Court justices into changing their decision, which is probably what the left wants, right? That's exactly what they want. And that's why they're trying to distract from the crime that was the leak, to try to say, no, it's not about the leak. It's about what's in the leak. When no, it's actually about the leak itself, because what's in the leak is not official yet, right? So again, with that being said, the Democrats are showing themselves to be who they actually really are. As it seems like whoever leaked this, if they were liberal, they're getting exactly what they wanted, in the sense that the left-wing extremists are now taking action to try to pressure these Supreme Court justices into changing their opinions. As a map doxing the conservative justices was released on the internet by an extremist radical left-wing group. So this map contained the addresses of some of these conservative justices so that people could show up to their homes and protest, right? So again, another example of left-wing extremism going astray that could put these Supreme Court justices and their families in danger, right? But again, according to the left, the only extremists in this country are the white supremacists on the right, right? They're the only extremists in this country. So let's actually read about this, because this is not really surprising, as is at the point where this is par for the course when it comes to the left-wing extremism in this country. So let's read here. Google appears to have removed a map showing the street addresses of the conservative Supreme Court justices. Leftist organizations have called for abortion supporters to demonstrate at the homes of conservative Supreme Court justices. One of these groups, Ruth Sent Us, is also calling for protesters to, quote, stand at or in a local Catholic church on Sunday, Mother's Day. On its website, Ruth Sent Us had posted a map that listed the street names where each justice supposedly lives with their families: Amy Coney Barrett, John Roberts, Samuel Alito, Brett Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, and Neil Gorsuch. But the map no longer appears on the Ruth Sent Us website. A review by the Daily Wire found as of 6 p.m. on Friday, a Google message says, quote, this map is no longer available due to a violation of our terms of service and or policies. Maybe this is one of the first times I've ever seen these big tech companies actually show some consistency here, right? They actually censored the left, right, in their doxing attempt of these Supreme Court justices. Google did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Daily Wire regarding why the map was taken down. So with that being said, let's see if the Biden administration has something to say about the conservative Supreme Court justices being doxed. Consider how they didn't really care about the leak that much. They must surely care about the fact that these Supreme Court justices and their families are potentially being put in danger because left-wing extremists are trying to show up to their door and protest over this upcoming decision. Let's take a look at what Jen Psaki in the White House had to say about this. Take a look.
These activists posted a map with the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Is that the kind of thing this president wants to help your side make their point?
Look, I think the president's view is that there's a lot of passion, a lot of fear, a lot of sadness from many, many people across this country about what they saw in that leaked document. We obviously want people's privacy to be respected. We want people to protest peacefully if they want to protest. That is certainly what the president's view would be.
So he doesn't care if they're protesting outside the Supreme Court or outside someone's private residence?
I don't have an official U.S. government position on where people protest. We want it, of course, to be peaceful.
You guys spent some time yesterday talking about what you think are the extreme wings of the Republican Party. Do you think the progressive activists that are now planning protests outside some of the justices' houses are extreme?
Peaceful protest? No. Peaceful protest is not extreme.
Some of these justices have young kids. Their neighbors are not all public figures. So would the president think about waving off activists that want to go into residential neighborhoods in Virginia and Maryland?
Peter, look, I think our view here is that peaceful protest, there's a long history in the United States and the country of that. And we certainly encourage people to keep it peaceful and not resort to any level of violence.
Guys, that answer is so shameful. It really is. It is so shameful for so many different reasons. Okay? I think the main one is the fact that, these are the same people that anytime you see any type of extreme event that comes from somebody on the right or whatever. Okay, let's take January 6th, for example. Okay? Left-wingers come out here and they attack Republicans who don't denounce what happened on January 6th. Although a whole lot of them actually have. Okay? A whole lot of them have. But they still take heat for it, okay? But when left-wing extremists do things, right? For example, like, the Summer of Love with Black Lives Matter, protested for, 5-6 months straight, burning cities, okay? Damaging property, people losing their lives. Yeah, they just ignore it, right? They turn the other way. Nothing to see here, right? When Antifa does that as well, too, nothing to see here, okay? When the extremists are doxing Supreme Court justices, having protesters show up to their homes because they don't like a decision that they're making. Nothing to see here, right? Crickets. Ain't it funny how that works? The left will never, ever acknowledge the extremist wing of their party, right? But that's part of the reason why the tides have turned and the pendulum has swung the other direction in the culture war, because these left-wing extremists out of control, right? I don't see what is so bad about Jen Psaki coming out here and just simply saying, yeah, we don't condone the doxing of Supreme Court justices. We don't want to try to influence them to change their opinion. We don't want that, because that will protect the sovereignty and integrity of our institution. That will protect democracy, what Democrats claim that they're about. They're about protecting democracy, right? Save democracy. That's the only thing we've heard from the Democrats for the past 2 years. However, when it comes to a situation like this, in which you have left-wing extremists that are obviously trying to influence the Supreme Court in a way that is undemocratic, again, crickets, silence. Almost as if they don't actually really care about the sovereignty and integrity of our institutions. That is simply a talking point for them to use when they want to go after the Republican Party, right? That's all it is. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they would much rather have a corrupt Supreme Court than to have Roe v. Wade overturned, right? So they're totally fine with these judges being doxxed, okay? They're probably low-key happy about it. And they're saying, you know what? I hope it does influence them to change their decision. Even if it does, again, degrade the sovereignty and integrity of the court. They don't care as long as they get their way. This is why they have no issues floating out radical ideas like packing the court, right? Like putting, a whole bunch of liberals on the court just so they can sway the court in their direction, because it's about what we want. It's not about the principles. It's not about our integrity. It's not about sovereignty. It's not about our institutions. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about the Democrats getting what they want, okay? And they will never, ever, ever denounce the extremists in their party, because the extremists do their dirty work, okay? Democrats don't believe in playing fair, okay? They believe in playing dirty and doing whatever they can to get what they want, right? I wonder where the FBI and the Department of Justice, where they at on this, right? Where they at? Because they was quick to go after parents that they saw to be dangerous, okay? And people on the right, right, that they deemed to be dangerous. But when it comes to these left-wing extremists that are doxing Supreme Court justices and potentially about to show up to their houses to try to influence their decisions, crickets, silence, right? They're nowhere to be found. Again, this is a disgrace. It really is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.